faster. See there, the switching from orthodox to southpaw there, the feet come square, and he's square on.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's world title fight at 135 pounds. It's for the vacant WBO strap in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, between the undefeated Northeast Ohio knockout artist Abdullah Mason taking on one of the brightest UK rising stars in Sam Noakes. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? Find the notification button on my channel, click that so you never miss one of my daily live streams. Also, we launched our Johnny Says Boxing VIP memberships. We have 3 different levels. That link is pinned in the comment section below. Click that to find out more. It's a couple bucks a month. Whatever level of membership you choose, you gain access to our private VIP professional betting Discord. This video is actually a level 2 suggestion because it's such a big fight. I had about 10 level 2 Johnny Says Boxing VIPs requesting this fight, so this video is for you guys. All right, guys, this is an exciting card all around. Midweek already here in Australia. I've already broke down, uploaded, predicted, and analyzed the Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney world title fight. If you haven't watched that already, watch it after this one. This fight that takes place at 135 is on the same card. We know the champions at 135. Raymond Morataya, he was elevated. Tank Davis, what's going on with Tank? But he's still a champion, has the WBA strap. The bright green strap, Shakur Stevenson, the 135-pound stalwart. And considering what happened in Norfolk, Virginia earlier in the year with Keyshawn Davis, he is vacated. He's allegedly moved up to 40, and this belt is now wide open, and in steps Abdullah Mason from Cleveland, Ohio, and the Kent, UK product, Sam Noakes. So in this video, what we're going to do is break down both fighters' careers. We're going to talk a little bit about how they go about their business. Stay tuned to the end of the video. Like always, I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds and be telling you where to put your money. Guys, in Sam Noakes' very first pro fight, he fought Ted Cheeseman, a recognized name on the channel, and he lost a points decision. Since then, he's won every single fight to put him in this position. He has a 75% career knockout to win ratio. He's an orthodox fighter. He does a lot of things really well. He's a front foot aggressive style fighter. He's gonna push the pace. When we're talking about this stylistic matchup, you have in Sam Noakes an orthodox fighter who wants to be on the front foot, taking on a southpaw, tall, rangy, big power in Abdullah Mason. We know about the undefeated knockout artist from Cleveland, Ohio, the Mason fighting family. He's a southpaw who generates power from within the pocket or at range. He carries into the ring a 90% career knockout to win ratio. Abdullah Mason is always looking to end the show, so keep your eyes on this one. This could sneakily become the fight of the night. As soon as this one was announced, I said this is firefight written all over it. And I already talked about on my live stream today, both guys are coming into this fight knowing that this is their step up. And with that vacated belt being on the line, you're either going to have the youngest world champion in modern day boxing in Abdullah Mason or a world champion for the UK in Sam Noakes. So bragging rights are on the line, legacy is on the line. This is a career-changing, career-defining fight for both young men. Abdullah Mason is going to want to get his timing early. He's going to want to hit those counters. We've seen Abdullah Mason on the canvas before against Johan Vasquez. He got dropped twice. Now, a lot of the naysayers will come around and say, oh, Mason got dropped, he's chinny. I totally argue that point. That's like saying that Naoya Inoue, because he got dropped against Cardenas, that he's chinny. We know that a chinny fighter is not a guy who gets stunned, picks himself up, and wins by knockout. That's not a chinny fighter. A chinny fighter is a guy who gets stunned, gets dropped, and he gets knocked out cold, and that happens time and time again. We do know Abdullah Mason has never lost. He was able to pick himself up. I do want to see him make an adjustment, though. When we break down that tape, that exact fight sequence, that knockdown sequence from Johan Vasquez, what happened with Mason, call it hubris, call it the willingness to exchange, call it impulse. He went to the well not once but twice with a rear uppercut. A lot of coaches will tell you the only time you ever throw a rear uppercut is either in a combination or off of a counter punch. So what Mason did the first time was go in naked, no feint, no setup, went for the rear uppercut, and Vasquez caught him right on the button, dropped him, gets back up. Mason, being the young fighter that he is, the hungry knockout artist, went to the well again and got caught again. We do know he wasn't made to pay for those two mistakes. He ended up stopping Vasquez. You have to think, Sam Noakes, the 27-year-old, the one who is in his physical prime, Mason's only 21. You have to think that the camp watched this tape. The camp will be looking for this. Noakes is aggressive. The entire fight, he's going to have one eye on Mason going to the well. Noakes could crack. He has a high knockout to win ratio. He's fundamentally sound, and he knows what he's doing in the ring. The one thing on Noakes' side that I want to see him make an adjustment, we'll see if this is the case, is get your head off the midline. He's up for a fight so much that he's punching and throwing and trying to counter in the pocket. He doesn't move his head a lot, so he is there to get hit. In one of his recent knockout victories, right before he stops his opponent, he gets caught with a clean hook due to that pressure and due to that lack of head movement. For you guys at home who are betting your hard-earned money on this fight, those are just two narratives of the story to pay attention to as this fight heats up. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at the one-loss Brit and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Sam Noakes is 23-1. Of his 23 wins, 17 of them are by knockout. His one loss was a decision loss, like I said, the very first fight of his career. He's fought a career total of 94 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 74% career knockout to win ratio. The Brit is a 28-year-old Orthodox fighter standing at 5'8". He lives in Maidstone, Kent, United Kingdom. We last saw him fight Patrick Balas, 13-4, stopped him in the third. Ryan Walsh, 29-4, UD in the 12th. Gianluca Seglia, 21-4, stopped him in the 8th. Mendy, 48-6, UD in the 12th. Sylvester, 13-0, stopped him in the 4th. When you look at Sam Noakes' film study, you're going to see an aggressive guy. You're going to see a confident fighter. Like I already said, he does a lot of things really well, and he's an exciting fighter. He's not going to have the speed advantage. He's not going to have the power advantage. The one advantage I will give him going into this fight, he's going up pretty much against a savant. Somebody who is just gifted and skilled at such an early age and is so dominant. Thus, Mason's only 21 fighting for a world title. What Noakes is going to have to do is be defensively sound, defensively smart. I want to see him move his head a bit more, not be there to get hit. I want to see him work the body against Abdullah Mason and get on the front foot early. It's going to be fun early. Don't blink. Don't go to the fridge. This one can end at any time. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at the Northeast Ohio native, Abdullah Mason, and see what he's been up to in his career. Mason is 19-0 with 17 knockouts. Out of 2,636 fighters in the world at 135, he's ranked number 6. He's fought a career total of 59 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 90% career knockout to win ratio. The American is a 21-year-old southpaw standing at 5'9" with a 74-inch reach. He lives and resides in Cleveland, Ohio, USA. He last fought Jeremiah Nakatia, 26-4, stopped him in the 5th. Ornelas, 28-4, stopped him in the 6th. Manuel Jaime, 16-2, stopped him in the 4th. Johan Vasquez, 26-5, stopped him in the 2nd. Ohan, 19-2, stopped him in the 2nd. It was that Johan Vasquez fight that I already talked about, in which he not only made a mistake, but he made the same mistake over and over. This is something that young fighters do, and I talked about it earlier today on my stream and in the Discord when I was being asked about Brian Norman Jr. Norman Jr., when he was fighting a guy named Janelson Bocachica, he goes into the firefight without setting up his backhand, no feint, no jab, nothing. And Janelson saw it coming and clipped him with the most gorgeous overhand right. Since that fight, he learned from that. And then you watch Norman Jr. grow through his career. The Santillan fight, you watch him against Derek Cuevas and Sasaki. He hides his backhand better. He throws the jab out there. He moves his head a little bit better. So that's an example of a guy leveling up and learning from a knockdown. I totally expect to see this from Abdullah Mason, not going to the well with that rear uppercut and looking for it off of a counter. When you're 21 years old and you're a knockout artist and you have all this hype about you and you're 5'9" and long and rangy for the division, and you just happen to have electric in both fists, you're going to take risks that most guys don't take, and generally you get away with them. We'll see if that's the case come fight night. Before I give you guys my prediction, I want to remind everybody that I do daily live streams. In those live streams, you're going to get my money line predictions, you're going to get my prop bets, knockdown props, my long parlay. So stay tuned and click the notification button. Join the Discord to get all those bets. In these Stats Don't Lie videos, you're only going to get my money line prediction. I do want to say I put up a poll on my Instagram, about 42,000 people in there, about 10,000 of them voted. Pretty shocking to see 93% of the people who voted picked Mason to win. Right now, I want to take a closer look at Las Vegas odds and see where they're sitting at this moment. All right, guys, if you're in Australia, I highly suggest you use Bet365 simply for the fact that a draw doesn't kill your bet. If you're using sports bet, a draw kills your bet. So right now on the money line, Abdullah Mason is $1.27. 100 on Della gets your money back plus 27 bucks. Noakes is $3.70, so not quite a 3-to-1 dog, which I think is fair. 100 on Sam gets your money back plus 270 bucks. This is gonna be both fighters, their step up. This is a world title fight, so we have to expect the best of each fighter. Is it too much too soon for Abdullah Mason? He's by no means a finished fighter. We are watching a fighter learn on the go. He's not a finished product. He's years away from his physical prime. In Noakes, the 28-year-old, he's physically matured. He's seen a lot just in life experience. Bringing that into the ring, that has to account for something. I think the odds are pretty fair, not quite 3-to-1. Where I'm going with my money, the money line bet $1.27 is juicy enough on Mason to juice up a parlay. You got to stay tuned for a prop bet that I really like. Join the Discord to get that information. I'm going all in on Abdullah Mason. I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, so my dad always said, Johnny, bet with your wallet, not with your heart. I tend to side with Northeast Ohio fighters. Tiger Johnson, we just saw him victorious against Nick Flaz as a pretty big underdog, and we hit on that. This is not Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason should make this look easy. His power, speed, reflexes, his length, and his willingness to fight in the pocket, a specific area where Noakes is going to bring it to him. All in all, this should be a firefight. And the comment section below, this is not an echo chamber. Maybe you see something in the Brit that I don't see. At the end of the fight, are we going to see Sam Noakes become a world champion, or are we going to see the Northeast Ohio product, Abdullah Mason, become boxing's youngest world champion? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, guys, if you haven't seen my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of the world title fight on this card at 147 between Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney, stay tuned to the channel because that's coming up right now.
Boy, you know good or well you ain't finna sit in no pocket with me. Hey.
You violate, I may have to demonstrate.
Hey, sit in that pocket with me. Sit in the pocket with me.
Hey, what if I put you down?
You can't.
I can't.
Boy, you ain't got nothing in them gloves.
Remember this day. Remember this day.
I'm gonna remember every last piece of every day.
After the fight,
People hate when they get hit with a brick.
I'm gonna be like,
You know what's in these gloves,
I
Sean.
told you.
You know what's in these gloves.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's world title fight at 147 pounds in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, between the WBO world champion Brian Norman Jr. and the challenger Devin Haney. I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? Find the notification button on my channel. Click that so you never miss one of my daily professional betting live streams. Also, one more thing. We have launched our Johnny Says Boxing VIP Insider membership. That link is pinned in the comment section below. Click to find out more. The best value here is once you become a member for a couple bucks a month, you get access to our private betting Discord. Click that link. All right, guys, the year is coming to an end, but we got some massive fights still to finish out the year in 2025. It's been a great year in boxing. This week alone, we got fights in Japan, we got fights in the UK, we got fights in the States. This card, though, takes us to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's a stacked card. Benavidez versus Yard, Bam versus Puma, Abdullah versus Noakes. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on the world champion at 147 pounds, the undefeated 24-year-old Brian Norman Jr. putting his belt on the line against the 32-0 Devin Haney. We know this will be Devin Haney's first fight at 147, and this will be Brian Norman Jr.'s first fight since we saw him achieve another knockout of the year candidate in Japan earlier in the year against Jin Sasaki. So in this video, what we're going to do is break down both fighters' careers. We're going to talk a little bit about their paths to victory. And like always, stay tuned to the end of the video because that's where I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds, and I'll be giving you my prediction and telling you where to put your money. All right, guys, as soon as this fight was announced, I know myself, some other guys in my network who break fights down and create content on YouTube in an educated and research-based way, we were like, oh, shit. This is one of those fights where as soon as it got announced, stress, back and forth. I've been half the time thinking Dev's gonna win, the other half been thinking Brian Norman Jr. is gonna win. You're overthinking it, you're watching film study, you know what both fighters have been up to, and now we're less than a week away, and you guys are gonna get my prediction here in just a few minutes. Devin Haney, we last saw him fight against Jose Ramirez. We saw him on that Riyadh card in Times Square. The card itself, in my opinion, was a bit of a letdown. I feel Turki Al-Sheikh and the powers that be moving forward probably shouldn't create a card around a sector or a section of town with no fans. We understand how important the energy of a crowd is for the fighters, and if you just think about that card, the Barboza Jr. versus Teofimo Lopez fight, the Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez fight, it was kind of lackluster, and I don't want to blame it on the fighters. I feel it had a lot to do with there being no crowd. I should also mention Raleigh beat Ryan Garcia on that card as well. And in Ryan Garcia, whenever you say the name Devin Haney, you have to say Garcia's name. Those two become synonymous with rivalry, with controversy. We know what happened when they fought. Since 2023, I do want to mention Devin Haney, since the Regis fight, this will only be his third fight. Fought Regis, fought Ryan, took a year off, fought Ramirez. For Brian Norman Jr., this will be his third fight in 2025. Derek Cuevas stopped him, Jin Sasaki stopped him, and now he's putting his belt on the line against Haney. We last saw Norman travel to Japan. He was taking on a one-loss Jin Sasaki. People on YouTube, there's receipts. Go to my playlist, Fight Predictions. You'll see who I took. You'll see we took under 6, and we picked Norman to win by knockout. We ate during that fight. We won a lot of money, but there were people doubting Norman Jr., saying that Sasaki's only loss was to Andy Hiroka, a knockout artist at 140. Sasaki's style is tailor-made for Norman to get hurt early. Norman isn't defensive responsible enough, and we saw what happened. And I feel this has kind of been a narrative around Brian Norman Jr.'s entire career thus far. It kind of comes with the territory when at the time you become the youngest world champion in boxing, until we know what happened with Xander Zayas when he won the title. Now Xander has that title. But Brian Norman Jr., he's going to have his detractors. People are going to say, who has he fought? People are going to bring up the Janelson Figueroa fight when he got clipped and he got hurt really bad. We know that fight was a no contest due to cuts. People are going to talk a little bit about how he has holes in his game. He's never fought a guy like Devin Haney. And with Haney on the other side, people are going to talk about the Ryan Garcia fight, how he wasn't able to make adjustments, how his fight IQ was literally next to nothing, trying to hook with a hooker, and how he almost got stopped against a guy, if you ask me, and Garcia isn't a world-level guy. All in all, we got to see Devin again against Ramirez. I think he landed 70 punches in that fight. Ramirez landed 30. This was the famous tweet, Tom and Jerry tweet from Turkey a la Sheik. We have to remember this is a Turkey a la Sheik card. So what version of Devin Haney are we going to see? If you're a Haney fan, you got to expect him to get on the jab early. You got to expect him to use his world-class speed, his world-class timing, but there will be a point in this fight where Brian Norman Jr. will make Devin Haney punch with him. Brian Norman Jr. is not a 33-year-old Jose Ramirez. Brian Norman Jr. is a young kid who's leveling up with each fight. We watched him go against Gio Santillan as the underdog, and we watched him stop Gio late. We watched him go against Derek Cuevas. All the boys from Philly, all the sparring partners were saying Cuevas was going to be the biggest puncher Norman had faced. Norman stopped him, and I already told you what the naysayers were saying about Norman going into Japan, and we know what Norman did to Sasaki. So this one is very exciting. The odds currently have it at 50-50. I woke up this morning for our first live stream, and Norman was the favorite. They're at 50-50 now, and I think as we get closer to fight night, the odds are probably going to be going in Devin's favor. So I told you guys earlier on the stream, if you're all in on Norman, wait till about Friday night to put your money on Norman because you'll get the best odds. I feel that's where the boxing casuals, the celebrities, the people who really aren't in the trenches like we are going to see the Devs fighting, and they're going to put money on them, not really knowing what time it is. So if you're on Devin, put your money in now. And if you're on Norman, you want to wait. Right now, I want to take a closer look at Devin Haney and see what he's been up to in his career. All right, guys, Devin Haney is 32-0 with 15 knockouts. Out of 2,667 fighters in the world at 147, he is ranked #1. We do know this is his first fight ever at 147, so it's another one of those head-scratching moments for BoxRec's algorithm. He's fought a career total of 234 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 47% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as the Dream, and the 27-year-old American is a 5'9" orthodox fighter with a 71-inch reach. He was born in California and calls Las Vegas, Nevada, USA home. We last saw him fight Jose Ramirez, 29-2, won a UD in the 12th. Ryan Garcia, 24-1, no contest, no decision. Regis Prograde, 29-1, won a UD in the 12th. Loma, 17-2, won a UD in the 12th. You guys have to go all the way back to 2019 when he fought Zaire Abdullayev to find his last stoppage victory. That was at 135 pounds. Never stopped anyone at 40. Like I said, this will be his first fight at 47. With me personally, the thing I've always questioned about Devin is his power. Technically, the thing I've always questioned is his backhand. He never looks comfortable with his footwork. The things you got to really like about Devin is his speed, is his jab, is his ability to use the entire ring. His reflexes are world class, and we know and what we learned watching the Garcia fight, the kid's a dog. You gotta really hurt him to have him quit. He never quit on himself. He kept getting up. That being said, we know what entailed. We know that Garcia tested dirty. We know that fight got overturned. We know about the lawsuits. We know about the threats. We know all about all the media stuff and how each fighter handled it. I don't like getting too political with my approach in terms of what I'm doing here on the channel, so I'm trying not to make that part of the narrative. When I see Devin's game plan going into fight night, he's gonna want to get Norman Jr.'s respect early. He's not gonna be able to win a fight backing up the entire time like he did against Ramirez. Everybody knows Ramirez, his camp knows, he was really never the same guy since Maurice Hooker. Ramirez's style, it doesn't age well. So even though Ramirez was 32, 33 years old at the time against Haney, people will say that's not that old. That's an old 33 for Ramirez's style and everything that Jose accomplished early on in his career. If you ask me about Devin's resume, people are going to look back on this resume in 40 years and just see these big names. But you also have to mention, when did he fight these fighters? What weight class did he fight these fighters? Did he weight drain any of these fighters? And a lot of people say that he lost to Lomachenko. And a lot of people talk about who is he really fighting in their prime, his age or younger. Well, guess what? Devin's 27 years old. Brian Norman Jr. is 24 years old. All this will be found out on fight night, because if Devin comes out on top, what the naysayers won't be able to say after fight night, that he never beat a world champion his age or younger. So we'll see. Right now, I do want to take a look at the undefeated 24-year-old champion and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Norman is 28-0 with 22 knockouts. Out of 2,667 fighters in the world at 147, he's ranked #2. He's fought a career total of 100 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 79% career knockout to win ratio. He is the WBO World Welterweight Champion. His adoring fans know him as the Assassin 2, and the 24-year-old American is a 5'8" orthodox fighter with a 72-inch reach. He was born in Decatur, Georgia, and lives in Conyers, Georgia, USA. We last saw him fight Sasaki, 19-1, stopped him in the 5th. Cuevas, 27-1, stopped him in the 3rd. Santillan, 32-0, stopped him in the 10th. The Janelson fight, 17-2, that was a no contest due to cuts. Quentin Randall, 13-0, won a UD in the 10th. And for a guy like Brian Norman Jr., for you guys watching this who are content creators, who make content like myself, I wouldn't go past the Quentin Randall fight with his career. Why? He's still a young dude. He's not in his physical prime. The thing I really like about Brian Norman Jr., from the Quentin Randall fight, to the Santillan fight, to the Bolsachika fight, to the Sasaki fight, the Cuevas fight, you see a kid who keeps leveling up. You see a guy who is tightening things up with his defense. You see a guy who's understanding the pocket a little bit more and not running in naked like he did against Janelson and getting caught with that beautiful right hand. And you saw him fight after fight adding layers and levels to his game, and he won't be in his physical prime for a few more years. I do say he's not a big welterweight. I feel this weight class is perfect for him for years to come. Devin Haney, even though he's never fought at 47, he'll be the bigger dude. Norman Jr., though, will have, on paper at least, an inch or so reach advantage. Norman Jr. has the power advantage. I give Norman Jr. the psychological advantage. This guy, to me personally, is a throwback. When I look at how Brian Norman Jr. throws his lead hook, when I look at his willingness to travel to Japan, to put his hand up to fight anyone, he reminds me of Joe Frazier. I'm not saying what he looks like, obviously different size, but in that throwback approach, in the minimal words, in the lead hook, how he goes about his business, Brian Norman Jr. is a throwback. There's a lot to like about his career. Before I give you guys my prediction on who I feel wins this fight, remember I do live streams every single day. In the live streams during fight week, not just this fight card, but I cover all the fights going on internationally. We go over my long parlays, over and unders. We talk about knockdown prop bets, method of victory props. Stay tuned to the live streams and join the Discord for those bets. In these Stats Don't Lie videos, guys, you're only going to get my money line prediction. All right, guys, let's pull out our betting apps. Wherever you are in the world, the app I'm using for this fight is Bet365. All right, guys, on the money line, it's straight down the middle. 50-50, $1.86 on both sides. 100 on either guy gets your money back plus 86 bucks. Now, before I tell you who I think is going to win, what I'm going to say is this. Just because I'm not going for said fighter doesn't mean I'm a hater. I want to tell you guys that right off the jump. This is one of those cultural fights where I know I'm going to get people who don't follow my channel, who aren't aware how I operate, who are seeing me for the first time right now, and you might, have some doubts on what I do. I took Devin to beat Ramirez. I took Devin to beat Ryan. I'm not a Devin Haney hater. I break down these fights without opinion and emotion. I'm looking at things strategically. I told the boys on my live stream earlier today, when I'm thinking about the story of each guy's career, if you have 500 days of their story and you're thinking about where they've come from, what they're up to, and where their career trajectory is going, it is really hard for me to put any money on Devin Haney. It's really hard for me to get past his performance against Ramirez. He was so unwilling to stand his ground. He had a couple moments where you saw his hand speed, where you saw the skill and reflexes, but I saw trauma in those feet. I saw trauma in those eyes. Obviously, we saw what happened to Ryan. Even if Ryan doesn't pop, he keeps getting caught with that lead hook and doesn't make adjustments. I don't like that. When you're giving me the 24-year-old, and I said by fight night, he will be the underdog with these odds. So if you're on Norman Jr., wait till Friday. He will be an underdog. I'm going all in on Brian Norman Jr. I think he's going to be able to figure out that jab. I think there's going to be moments where he's going to force Devin Haney to punch with him. He's faster than people thinks he is. He has a higher fight IQ than people give him credit for, and we know that he could crack, and we know that he wants to be there. Sometimes I question Devin Haney, his mental, his mindset. Does he really want to be there? Did he really want this fight? Did they force him to take this fight? How big will the ring be? We remember Turki Al-Sheikh said the Tom and Jerry matchups. Devin Haney, that's who he was referring to against Jose Ramirez. Now, I just Googled, you guys could do your research. What is the ring size? They haven't announced it yet. They usually wait till about Friday night. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Brian Norman Jr. is going to make it look pretty easy. There's nothing in Devin Haney's game that I've seen that he's added to. There's nothing that I've seen that he's maybe evolving as a fighter. I don't give much credence to the Ryan Garcia no contest. Ryan Garcia is very domestic level, if you ask me. I don't think he'll ever be a world champion. All he has is a left hook. Garcia is a guy who hasn't evolved since the amateurs. You think Brian Norman Jr. lands his hook a couple times clean, Haney's going to get up? I don't think so. So right now, I got Norman Jr. on the money line. Stay tuned to my channel, to the live streams for some props. There's a sneaky prop that I like a lot going into fight night. This is not an echo chamber. I know we are not agreeing 100% on this one. So in the comment section below, tell me how Norman wins. Tell me how Norman loses. If you're with Devin Haney, do the same. And stay tuned to the channel, guys, because we got a lot of fights this weekend. I'll see you in the next one.